Here we are this April 2024, knee deep into what in a healthy real estate market should be the busiest time of year when buyers hit the market hard. But this year the showings seem to be coming up a little bit short of expectations. Homes are getting sold, but only a handful of them are selling well. And many homes are taking longer on market than they would have even just a year back. I know in the conventional market and territory, 30 days on market doesn't seem like a long time, but this is Toronto, and around here, 30 days is kind of awkward. So in this video, I'm going to go into what properties and price points are moving and not moving, the waves of buyers we see in the spring market, and what's working and not working in selling homes this year. Lastly, I'm going to wrap up this video with what I believe is some very interesting mortgage-related news that didn't catch much attention. This news could have some pretty big implications on home prices as interest rates come down, so stay tuned for that. For those of you that are seeing me for the first time, I'm Jonathan Lee and I'm a Toronto area real estate agent based out of Etobicoke. If you like real estate related news, click that like button and hit subscribe. First things first, we've seen a lot more homes come on the market in Toronto in Q1 2024 versus 2023. Between January to March this year, we saw 13,412 properties listed in Toronto's 416. That's both houses and condos. Last year, we saw only 10,644 properties listed in Q1. During that same time period, we saw a comparable amount of sales each year. This year is slightly higher at 5,950 sales, or 44% of sales to new listings, compared to last year's 5,395, or 51% of sales to new listings. Year over year, the number of sales is up only 10%, while the number of listings is up 26%. Anecdotally, I'm seeing a number of properties that were listed last year that didn't sell come back onto the market. I don't have an exact tally. The Toronto Real Estate Board data interface is extremely limited and doesn't allow me to collect data easily, but I am seeing a number of recognizable properties reappear on the market. If we break this down further, in Q1 this year, freehold listings are converting to sales at 50%, meaning roughly 50% of listings are selling, while for condo apartments, only 40% of listings are selling. This is all while the proportion of listings that are for condo apartments are similar to last year and the year before, which tend to hover in the mid to high 50% of all listings. If we look deeper in the numbers, we do have a slightly higher ratio of condo apartment listings compared to other freehold, but the listings are selling at a much lower rate, from a high of 69% in 2022 to where we are today at only 40% of condo listings selling. From my observation, the condo apartments that are getting sold are the affordable ones, going to first-time home buyers. And these buyers are looking for either the spacious 1,000 plus square foot 3-bedroom apartments under $650,000 or the cleaner and newer, roughly 500 square foot 1-bedroom apartments going to a buyer who is looking to escape the nest. These 1-bedroom condos are still selling for the high 400,000s to the low 500,000s. On the freehold side, sell-through has also been impacted, but not as badly as condos. In 2022, about 60% of all freehold listings were selling, and this year, only about 50% of freehold listings are selling, dropping roughly 5% year over year for the past 3 years. In early April in the 416, we're sitting on roughly 1.7 months of inventory in the freehold space and 4.2 months of inventory in the condo market. And just to my right, you'll see the different tranches for a seller's, a balanced, and a buyer's market. So to summarize, there seems to be more active sellers on the market than active buyers, which according to the laws of supply and demand should lead to a drop in prices. And yet year over year, home prices are still up very slightly to $1,087,000 this March between all property types from $1,054,000 in March 2023. So is there a chance we might see prices come down a bit? Yes, I think there's a chance, but I don't expect it to happen right away, like this April. And that is due to the different waves of buyers the spring market tends to bring out. Some of you might have seen this short somewhere in my social media or YouTube page where I describe the different seasonal markets you'll see in Toronto real estate. I identify the spring market as being roughly between March to June and January to February being the pre-spring market. If you want to watch it, you can click on my YouTube channel and go to shorts. This is accurate, but some see January and February as part of the spring market. And that is partially due to the overlap of active buyers that go out home shopping during those times. Each month from January until about April or May tends to bring out a wave of new buyers. And here's how I'd classify them. In January, you get the New Year's buyer. They're the ones that have been thinking about moving for a while and were emotionally ready in the fall. Maybe they could have bought, but they just didn't really get their shit in gear. They might have even seen a few houses in the fall, but as things got closer and closer to Christmas, there's lower selection of nice homes, and gatherings with friends and family, and so they delayed it to the new year and resolved at the start of the year to start home shopping and buy something. I did see a bit of an outing for the New Year's buyer, but they also sort of fizzled out a bit early in 2024. These buyers can be real momentum setters in a hot market. February brings the year-end bonus buyers. These are the buyers who recently got paid or are about to get paid their year-end bonus and finally feel they've got enough to look for a home. This isn't a huge buyer subset, but I didn't really see any discernible uptick in February to bring out these buyers. In March, we see the post-March break buyers, who are generally families that want to move but don't want to deal with looking for a house or listing their home until after they get back from vacation. I didn't see any boom in sales after March 15th this year. Then in April and May, you get the tax returners. These are the buyers that need to submit their taxes to qualify for the amount of mortgage they need in order to buy the home they want, and for some reason or another need a deadline to motivate themselves to file their taxes. And the summer movers. These are basically the same subset of buyers as the post-March breakers, the families that want to keep their kid in the same house so they don't disrupt the school year and plan to close and move in July and August. Now, I don't want to state any April numbers until things become official, of course, at the end of April, but it seems sellers are very hopeful that the fourth wave of buyers, the summer movers and the tax returners, have a very big showing. We're about a week into April and I'm seeing a lot of new listings come on the market and a smaller ratio of sales happening. And even though we didn't see much of a showing of post-March breakers, the market seems to be rationalizing it by this year's early Easter weekend, basically rolling over the rush of buyers until April this year. It could be true. We'll have to just wait and see. So, if this spring season is coming out lackluster, why would you as a buyer or a seller want to get involved? If you're a buyer, it seems the law of supply and demand could bring home prices down. And if you're a seller, selling at the price you want doesn't seem guaranteed anymore. And this is all true. But for buyers, over the timeline of a year, spring will still provide the most options for you to consider. The spring market typically sees 37% more listings than the summer market and 22% more listings than the fall market, providing you just way more options if you're going to buy something. So in a sense, this is kind of like the hunting season for homes. Not all hunters are able to bag a home, but if you're going to look, this time period will provide you the most options in the most neighborhoods to look in and make sure you're getting the most appropriate home that's available for you during this market. And if you're both selling and buying and want to do it this year, the spring is typically the time that will have the biggest outing of buyers. The first half of the year historically has a higher ratio of sales of about 60% to 40% compared to the second half of the year. So trying to sell in the spring protects you from the pain of a slower market. In a slow market, you might be able to get a better deal on a buy, but if you're unable to find a buyer for your current home, you're screwed on the other side of selling and won't be able to complete the move. With that said, what is working in selling homes right now? Well, I did a bit of analysis, and for condos, every price segment is taking on average more than 15 days on market to sell. So offer dates are not really working with condos. An offer date is when you list your property low, expose it onto the market for 7 to 9 days, and hope to sell at a higher price due to the competition for the unit. This table shows you condo sale prices in $100,000 increments up to $1.5 million. The price segments that seem to have the fewest days on market are condos valued between $900,000 and $1 million, likely hitting the downsizer market, and condos between $700,000 and $800,000, likely the larger 2 or maybe 3 bedroom units. In the freehold space, things are a bit different. I'm seeing offer dates, particularly very underpriced listings with offer dates, seem to be selling well and quick, while offer dates that are priced just slightly under the market value range are generally flopping and underperforming. And listings priced within range of market value, taking offers anytime, tend to be sitting on the market a long time. And it kind of lines up with what's going on out there. There are fewer buyers than there are sellers, and buyers have their pick of options. So naturally, they're gravitating to the most attractive looking deals, emotionally committing to it, but when they find out that there are 15 plus other offers on an offer date and few comparables in the last 3 months, they have to go all the way back to last spring to assess what a buyer could pay up to. And then when emotion sets in, they don't want to lose a chance to get the home. They end up making a winning bid, which is an aggressive price. Here's a table showing you the list price of freeholds in $150,000 increments to $2.5 million. The Toronto freehold list price segments, aka asking price, with the fewest days on market are listings priced under $700,000, between $850,000 to $1 million, $1.3 million to $1.45 million, and $1.6 million to $1.75 million. As you can see, the lower price segments sell quickly because offer dates with low asking prices are still very effective in the freehold market. And the final sale prices that are seeing the lowest days on market are freehold houses listed between 1.6 million to 1.75 million, 1.3 million to 1.45 million, and 1.4 million to 1.6 million. So overall this April, I expect the market will perform okay, but for the remaining spring market, we might see a shorter and less pronounced spring peak than we did last year, meaning fewer sales and an earlier downturn, perhaps in late May rather than June, and we could potentially see a slow summer market, especially if no progress is made with interest rates. And if inventory levels stay high as they are right now, we might finally start seeing sellers' expectations get realigned with what buyers are truly willing to pay. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is OSFI's new mortgage test that will go into effect next year. OSFI, the Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions, will be implementing a new mortgage rule that limits the number of mortgage loans that major banks are allowed to issue for mortgages that are greater than 4.5 times the borrower's income. This was announced in late March and didn't make much headway in the news, but this new rule will have a serious impact as rates come down. Currently, with mortgage rates around 6%, you can borrow very roughly up to 4 times your household income to buy a home. When rates were around 2% a couple years back, you could borrow up to, again, very roughly, 6 times your household income to buy a home. So as long as rates are high, pretty much no one will be impacted by a 4.5 times income budget limit. However, as rates come down, this new rule will put a cap on how much banks are allowed to lend, regardless of where rates settle, whether that's 3%, 4%, or 5%. Which means that even if most buyers could qualify for more money through the stress tests, banks will have to cap it at 4.5 times your income, other than probably for the most qualified buyers with either large down payments or a large amount of assets. It's not that no mortgages will be issued above 4.5 times income, just that there will be a quarterly limit. This will place restrictions on price growth in the market. And renters, maybe first-time homebuyers, are probably hearing this news and thinking, wow, this is fantastic. But realistically, higher priced homes, not lower priced entry-level homes, will be the most impacted by this rule. This isn't going to limit demand or increase supply. There aren't more affordable homes coming to the market. It's just going to squash how much home prices can climb due to a buyer's ability to afford it. And for sellers who are holding out for prices to rebound, this could suppress home prices for longer. So that's it for me this month. If you enjoyed this video, again, all I ask is that you hit that like button and you click subscribe. Once again, I'm Jonathan Lee. I'm a Toronto realtor based out of Etobicoke. If you want to connect, you can click on the calendar link below in the description. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.